Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria, and today guys, I come to you from the other side of death. Oh my goodness, all I wanted to do was teach my freaking Latin ones Christmas carols in Latin, like I do every year. But something happened this year. I don't know if it was the fact that my first period class has a bunch of those kids who don't want to do anything that could possibly embarrass them because they have not yet figured out that they are, by dint of being a teenager, ipso facto embarrassing. Like, because they're a teenager, they are already embarrassing. So there's nothing I can do to make that worse. But I had to go through these things like 100 times. Longest it's ever taken to teach one class 4 carols. And I must have blown my voice out because I started to lose my voice at the end of that day. And then, like, it was so blown out I couldn't even do my last class of the day. And then it just got worse. And then I got sick on top of it. Like, I don't know what it was, but man, ugh, I have been trying to recover. My voice still isn't 100%, but I had to film something. I'm like, what is going on? So I already had to cancel Jeopardy again, move it back to January. But anyway, hopefully I'm on the mend. Exams are this week, and then I am free for Christmas break. So I didn't tell you what I'm doing, and I also didn't give you a hint by holding up these handy dandy note cards. So this is the 25 question tag. I'm not sure I was tagged by anybody. Maybe Andrew, or this may be the one that I said, hey Andrew, why didn't you tag me? And I tagged myself. I don't know. But I've seen Andrew do this. I saw Zara do this. And so this is a tag I haven't done. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. It's 25 questions, which doesn't really bode well. Like, I'm going to try to go quickly. But every time I say that, I end up taking a really long time. So hopefully there are some that I can just answer fast. And so this won't take all freaking day. Like, it's going to be an hour. So without wasting any more time, let's get down to business. Let's do these 25 questions. Boosh, question number 1. What is your channel about? It's the Library of Alexandria, and it's about books, mostly. But I also talk about video games, because I will always play video games. I really enjoy role-playing games, and, you know, I just play a lot of video games. But mostly books. Eventually I'm going to have some history videos up on here. I have not forgotten, but it is, I don't know, it's hard to, like, take the plunge and actually, instead of talking to 30 kids at a time, talking to 6,000 bloody people. So, those are coming. I haven't forgotten, but books mostly. Boosh. Whoa, that was a nice one. Question number 2, how old are you? I'm glad I did this before March. I am 39. Yeah, I'm 39. It sucks. I'm gonna be 40 in March, which sucks worse. I squandered my 20s, and, youth is wasted on the young. You hear that a lot, but it's true. Like, I wish I could go back and do my 20s again without being an idiot, so I could have more to show for it. 39. Boosh. Number 3, what's your relationship status? I am married to a wonderful woman. If you have been watching this for any extended period of time, you will know Christina. She has been in some videos, but not recently. I think she's going to be on a couple here soon. But yes, wonderful wife. We've been married 2.5 years. And yeah, she's awesome. Her family's awesome. Yeah, Christina's the best. She's, if you don't know Christina, well, just stick around. You'll see her eventually. But those of you who do know, y'all know. You like Christina better than me anyway. Boosh. Number 4, did you go to college/occupation? I did go to college, and I went to occupation. So I was in school for 8 years. Most of those people are called doctors. I took 8 years to get a bachelor's degree. I went to 4 different colleges because I did the thing that I absolutely tell my students not to do. And this is the very first hashtag Walker Life lesson they get. Do not, and if there's any high schoolers watching right now, do not, under any circumstances, follow your significant other to college. Don't do it. Don't tell me that, oh, well, my parents met in high school. Yeah, I know. 2 of my friends met in 10th grade and they're still together. I get it. That's the exception, not the rule. Don't do it. Just don't. Anyway, I was also interested in a whole bunch of things. I changed my major a bunch, partially because my dad's like, you need to get a real job or whatever. And my major ended up being international politics with a focus on East Asia. and a minor in Japanese. And so that was awesome. But it just took forever. I graduated from the University of West Florida, which I loved. Yeah, I was in school a long time. I think I graduated like 265 credits or something like that. And they were finally like, you got to graduate. You got to go. So, yeah, long time. And then I graduated because I played too much WoW. I graduated a semester late. Late, 4 years late, but a semester after I was supposed to. And that was December of 2008. Those of you old enough to remember that the economy collapsed in October of 2008. And so it was a good time to look for a job. So my first job was in dialysis. And God bless healthcare workers, because I am not one of them. It's not for me. It is not for me. But I know a ton about kidney failure, and man, I am not going to have kidney failure if I can prevent it. And then I worked at a news station as like a production assistant, and that was really fun, but it was like, barely above minimum wage. And then a friend of mine from high school who taught theater at my high school was like, hey, so the Latin program's gotten big, they need a Latin teacher. You know Latin, right? I'm like, I ain't taken Latin since 2000. It's year 2000. It's like 2013. And she's like, well, yeah, but you could learn it, right? I'm like, yeah, of course. So I went and studied and passed the test, which was the hardest test I've ever taken in my life. And then got certified. And now I know way more Latin than I did, back then. So I've been teaching for 9.5 years now. I teach high school. I teach Latin. I have an ACE classical studies class where I teach Greek, mostly Greek history, but some Roman history in there as well. So I love my job, but I hate teaching. And I hate public education in America, which is a whole different video. But I really love my students, and I really like what I teach. Boosh, never gonna get through this. Number 5, where are you from? Live. I was actually, fun fact, if you have read To Kill a Mockingbird, the town of Macomb is actually based on Monroeville, Alabama, which is where I was born. And I moved to Florida when I was 2, and I've been here forever. I went around for college, but then I moved back here. So I am from Panama City, Florida, which is on the Gulf Coast, Northwest Florida, which is very similar to the Deep South. And a lot of people come here for vacation because we have really nice beaches, and our infrastructure cannot support it. So please, don't vacation here. Go to Destin. Wait, no, I drive to Destin sometimes. Just go down to Daytona. Like Daytona, West Palm, they love tourists. Go there. Boosh. Ooh. Looking back, what would you have told your 10-year-old self? All right. You have Asperger's. You are on the autism spectrum. And good gracious, would it have been nice to know that. Now, to be fair, when I was 10, that was 1992, Asperger's wasn't a diagnosis till 95. And apparently it's not even a diagnosis now. We're all autism spectrum disorder, something like that. I don't know. I say I have autism. Like, you can't take away my diagnosis. Get away. Growing up was challenging, not understanding why things were so difficult. Because I was always a smart kid, and that's really I've always known that. But I felt stupid a lot in school because I couldn't understand things that other people could understand. That, I'm like, how does this guy understand it? Are you kidding me? This guy failed like every Latin test he's ever taken. How do I not understand this thing? And it was hard. And I also couldn't understand why there were things I just couldn't let go. Like, I just could not stop. If something got in my head, like an expectation or something like that, breaks in routines, I did not handle these things well. And I just, my parents just thought I had emotional outbursts or whatever. And that's true, but there's probably a reason. And I was diagnosed when I was 30 years old. And my life has been appreciably better since that diagnosis, because once you know what's going on, you can do things to mitigate the things you can't help. Like, I cannot help that if I start obsessing with something. I can't, but I am well aware that it's happening, and I can inform my wife that this is happening. I am feeling a way that is unreasonable. The way I'm feeling is irrational. I realize that the thing I am upset about is stupid. And to any normal human, this is such a small thing, and I should not be upset at this. However, knowing that does not affect my feelings. And, you hear the stereotype of an autistic kid is, you can't shut them up about their special interests. And that's absolutely true. My entire life, I've never understood why I've been bad at small talk. Like, I'm not good at it. I don't know what to say to normal people. I'm from the South where like college football is like huge. I don't care. I don't care about college football. I don't like the outdoors. I don't like hunting. I don't like fishing. I don't like trucks. I don't care about so many things that are important to the region that I live. And when I try to talk to someone about normal things like, oh, it's hot, the weather, look, freaking Auburn is winning. I don't know why. I don't know who plays for Auburn. I just know that my, family graduated from there. My wife graduated from there. And I've always been really bad at this, around people I don't know. But then, getting around my friends who understand me, or someone says something, and look at this. Someone says something like, mentions Rome, or whatever. And all of a sudden, it's like, boom, I have tons to say about that. And I get really, really excited. Like, when we're talking about something that excites me, or something that triggers something that I'm passionate about, mostly like corruption, justice, military fantasy, swashbuckling, things like this, I get really, really excited. And I can't contain it. It feels like whenever I have like negative emotions, just in general, it feels like it is this tangible entity that is inside me, and the only way I can get it out is by talking about it. So part of the time is I complain a lot about things that bother me, because if I don't, it just sits there. It sits there like a tumor, and when I talk, it dissipates. And that's how I process things. But when I'm super excited about something, I'll talk, and I'll get really excited, and the person looks like they're having a good time, and I'll find out later that I offended people, or I was rude about something, and this happens all the time. It happens now. As an adult, it happens. Like, it still happens. There are some things I just don't understand, and I'll ask, but it seems like I'm being purposely obtuse, or just, trying to be a jerk. And, especially when I'm when I'm on other people's channels, people that don't know me, or, don't follow me and are used to this nonsense, they'll be like, why is Alan being so rude? It's like, I'm so sorry. I was definitely not trying to be rude. I just didn't understand something and was just speaking in a direct manner. And it's just how I talk. And I also get really, really excited about stuff, and it is difficult because a lot of times I feel like people discount that I am an intelligent person because I am excitable. And that's always been the case, is I get really excited about things, so I don't talk super eloquently about things, because anything that I want to talk about on that level is something that excites me. And so I get, really worked up. And, then people just tend to write me off as a fanatic or a zealot instead of someone who is capable of making reasoned arguments. And so I've dealt with that my whole life, and it's frustrating and it's challenging. But now I know the things that, that are gonna be difficult, and I, take steps to mitigate them. And my wife is the most wonderful, understanding person on the planet. She always tries to understand what is going on, why I'm feeling the way I do, which is helped by the fact that I am almost always able to communicate that. Like, this is what is bothering me. This is why this is bothering me. It shouldn't, because I, Alan Walker, was not put on the earth to fix the corruption in the human heart. And you know what? Like, I wish I was. I wish I could just wield a sword of righteousness and just cut out the greed and corruption and, all sorts of horrible things from all the douchebags in the world. But I can't. And so I have to try to not let that bother me. Anyway, guess what? This video has turned into a treatise on Asperger's. I don't know. Anyway, 10-year-old self, you're going to be all right. Just understand that you process information differently than other people. And, that it's a superpower in some ways. You're going to memorize, you're going to know facts, a lot about a lot, but people are going to think you're weird. So just letting you know. The good thing is I tell my students right up front, first day of school, every year, I'm like, I have autism. You're going to think I'm weird. The thing is, I'm at a point in my life where what 16-year-olds think of me, doesn't define my self-worth. So you guys, the quicker you guys realize that all teenagers are fools, therefore, what they think about you doesn't matter, because they're fools. So what they think about you is literally irrelevant. So embrace the weirdness that's inside of you. Let me boosh this and move on. Boosh. I bet we're at 20 minutes now. I'm so sorry. Number 7, tell us about your family. I am never going to get through this. So I have My mom and my dad divorced when I was 7 years old. I have a younger brother. He is 3 years younger than me, so I guess he's 36. He's gonna be 37. He is a robot, and I'm not saying anything that he hasn't said to me, like flat out. Like he knows. He's a robot and doesn't really have big feelings. He will build up, build up, build up, and then he'll explode, and then he has a thing. He has to build up and build up. Things don't bother him. He's just like, oh, all right. But he got the left brain. He is good at science and math, and I was not. So he's an engineer and is pretty high up at the Navy base we have here. He is married with 3 kids, and we got along when we were really young until the time that he started getting better than me at video games. I always read. He never read. He still hates reading to this day. And then for about 10 years, my brother and I did not speak, and it was over. It doesn't matter what it was over. It was over, whatever. And coming up on, 7 years ago or whatever, I finally decided that that was enough. And I went and apologized to my brother for all this tension we had. And it turns out the whole thing was dumb. So I lost a decade there, squandering my 20s. I was an angry 20-something. Just mad all the time. Anyway, so now my brother and I are the same. We like the exact same video games. We like the exact same anime. We like the exact same games. We talk nonstop when we're together, much to the chagrin of our wives. We like the same food. He doesn't like reading, and I don't understand math. So yeah, I get along with my brother a lot now. My mom, we lived with my dad. Who got remarried about a year and a half later, and we grew up in a very southern household. My dad talks like this, and my stepmom talks like this, and I talk like this, and so does my brother, because I don't really know why. But growing up in the house is very strange. My brother was also an athlete. I was not. My brother likes the outdoors. I do not. So my brother and my dad were always way closer than I was. My stepmom, she was not super warm, and so she and I were at odds constantly. And then my mom, we spent summers with my mom. And so yeah, I've always had more in common with my mom, at least my mom's family. My grandma's the one that introduced me to dinosaurs, taught me to read. She was a 3rd grade teacher. She was wonderful. I love Grammy. Anyway, it was not an amicable divorce. My mom and my dad were always bloody fighting. My stepmom didn't help matters because she was mean to my mom and my mom was mean to her. And it was just, oh my gosh, gush. What is this therapy hour? And I also had an older stepbrother that was my stepmom's son, and he's super nice, still super nice, really, really nice guy. So yeah, that's my family. I love my family. My family is very nice. I just don't have a lot in common with them, so I don't really have a ton to say. So, but I see them infrequently. We all live in the same town, and my mom and stepdad. Oh, my mom is married to a wonderful guy, Terry, stepdad. They just bought a house here, so they spend 6 months out of the year here. And so yeah, regardless, I owe a lot to my family. My mom has supported really everything that I do, even my dad too. They've supported the terrible decisions I've made far longer than they should have. So I love my parents, and I am extraordinarily grateful for all they have provided me. I just wish I had more to say to them. They just don't like the same stuff I do. And as I told you, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to talk about the stuff. I hear normal people have conversation oh, how's work? Oh, it's this and this and this. Oh man, they're gonna do. And I'm just how do you have a normal conversation? I struggle with this when my students leave my class. They'll come back after graduating, and they'll come talk to me, but it's very weird talking to my students as people and not as students. Because in my class, there's always something to talk about. We can talk about Alcibiades, or Epaminondas, or Agesilaus, or Caesar, or, Latin or whatever, or the drama of high school. But once they're gone, I don't know what to ask. How are you? How is college? How are your classes? I don't want to know if they have a significant other. That's weird. So I need to learn how to be a normal human and have normal conversations because I'm not super good at it. Same thing with my family. So anyway, that's my family. Blah. Boosh. What is your favorite holiday? So I used to hate the holidays, but my wife loves the holidays, and she brought the holiday spirit to me. I really like, I don't know, I like Thanksgiving or Christmas. I don't like food. I don't like holiday food. I hate holiday food. I always have to bring provisions so I can eat something normal. But on the holidays, My wife and I go and hang out with her family. She has family in Orlando and like near here, like an hour away from here. And we kind of swap. We go hang out with them. And she has such a big family. My family's pretty small, but she has such a big family, and they all get together, and everybody's in one room, and it feels it's very welcoming and wholesome and wonderful, and it's just so comfortable. So I really enjoy getting to spend all that time with family. And then, now that my mom is here for 6 months out of the year, I get to see my mom and my stepdad, and I see my dad and my brother, and I see my brother when he comes over to play games or whatever. So I get to see a lot of family around the Thanksgiving, Christmas time, which is good because I wasted a whole time like wanting nothing to do with my family. Again, the angry 20s. Boosh. I guess I'm putting these down. Number 9, you have no budget. What's your dream vacation? So, when I heard this question first, I'm like, how can I have a dream vacation if I don't have a freaking budget? Like, where can you go with no money? And then I saw someone else do this. And it means that you have an unlimited budget. That is what this should say. Because I literally did not understand. I'm like, you have no budget? Like, you have no money? No. You have an unlimited budget. Your budget is, you do not have a cutoff number. My dream vacation, man, I don't know. Like, I get to go to Rome and take some kids every 3 years, and that's fun. I am not someone who loves travel. It's every single person who's like around, younger than me, but like, late 20s, early 30s, like, oh, I just want to travel. I just want to travel everywhere. I just love traveling and taking in new experiences. Let me stop you right there. No. First of all, if you've watched my Instagram stories, it is not journey before bloody destination. It's destination. Journey sucks. Traveling sucks. You gotta get up early. It's stressful. You gotta hope that like there's no problems. You can get through the stupid line. If you're driving, it's just so long in the car and it's cramped. Traveling sucks. The destination, when you get there, is awesome. And that's fine, but I'm also not someone who wants to see something just because I haven't seen it. I don't want to go somewhere just because I haven't been there. I am, again, autism. I'm fine with my current environs. If I'm going to travel, I want to travel somewhere that I want to go. I don't just want to go to Monaco because I've never been to freaking Monaco. Like, guess where I don't want to go? Paris. I don't want to go to Paris. But the Eiffel Tower, I don't care. Look it up. Picture Eiffel Tower. There you go. I'll go somewhere else in France, Roman ruins. I don't need to go to Paris. Like, it's just not my thing. I don't like French food. I don't love the way the French language sounds, and it's not just you, France. Don't worry. I'm not mad at you. It's just a personal preference. It's just not my thing. It's just not. But Rome, Italy is very much my thing. I love Italian food. I like the language. I like Roman stuff, obviously. Japan as well. I would love to go to Japan again. I spent a summer semester there. It was awesome. I really tried to eat the food when I was over there, and I just couldn't. So I ate 6 weeks. I ate McDonald's for lunch and dinner. This is no joke. I would buy like 8 of these Shaka Shaka chickens. If you know what Shaka Shaka chicken is, please stop this video, comment down below that you know the wonder that is Shaka Shaka chicken. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And they don't have them here at the McDonald's here. Lame. So Japan, I would love to take my wife to Japan because she's never been. I would love to take my wife to Rome because she's never been. I would actually like to go all over Italy. And then I would like to see London, though my wife tells me I should never see London because I will be disappointed because it doesn't look like what I'm picturing, which is, smokestacks and workhouses on every corner and like orphan chimney sweeps and selling papers and saying, "Hello, Gov!" I've heard that that's not the case, but I don't believe it. But I am going to go one day. So yeah, and I also like to go on a cruise. I went on my first cruise on my honeymoon with my wife, and it was awesome. And I love cruises because I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. I can just go down, get ice cream, and I can sit there and I can read. Awesome. Boosh. 10. Name your biggest pet peeve. Okay. I have a lot of pet peeves. I have a lot of things that bother me. I don't know if this is supposed to be bookish. Is this supposed to be bookish or like regular? Like a regular. I'll do one of each. So my biggest pet peeve, one of the things that bothers me the most, is this freaking idea that kindness is a weakness. And it's not, I mean, it's not everyone's fault. It's the culture that we live in order, like, the fact that life has become this zero-sum game where in order to win, in order for me to win, you must lose. And so the only way to climb to the top, because what is the top? Like, how do we define success, right? We define success as money and power, right? Money and power. And in order to get that, if you don't cut the legs out from under somebody else, someone else is going to cut the legs out from under you. So you've got to reach up, because that's what you're rooting for. Not a good character, right? Not any kind of virtue, not what is inside, being a decent human being who cares about others. That's not what we strive for. And that's certainly not what we celebrate and revere. We don't deify that. We deify people who have a ton of money and a ton of power, and that's what we want to be. And as freaking John Dickinson of the Second Continental Congress said, most men with nothing would rather protect the possibility of becoming rich than face the reality of being poor. And that's why people can keep doing it, because there's always the hope of, guess what, one day I'm gonna be that guy on top, rather than focusing on being decent human beings to each other. My mantra, and my wife hears this all the time. When people say life isn't fair, that's true. Sometimes a tree just breaks and it falls down, kills your dog, and that sucks. That's not fair. Why did it happen? Terrible. But a lot of times when people say life isn't fair, what they mean is that some douchebag is making a decision that isn't fair because they are so selfish they cannot possibly think of how their action is affecting other people. If we got rid of that, if more people made kinder, more compassionate decisions that were looking out for other people, the world would be a lot fairer place. It's just so frustrating. Why are people so mean? And not only are they mean, but they have to mock those who freaking aren't and call them weak. And I have to hear this in my classrooms all the time, where these children think that caring about other people is a sign of weakness, and it's absolutely preposterous, and it's gotta stop. So that is one of my biggest pet peeves, if we're not going to get into like political stuff. But that's one of my biggest pet peeves. My biggest book pet peeve is probably like, and please, if I'm calling you out right now, I'm not mad at you. I'm just trying to get you to think about something. So my biggest book pet peeve right now is the phrase, "that ending broke me." So guys, if I called you out, I'm sorry. But you need to understand, you are spoiling the ending. I'm not someone who cares a ton about spoilers. Like, there are levels of spoilers. For example, if it was shown in the trailer of a movie, let's say the book was a movie, and it would be shown in the trailer of a movie, meaning talking about kind of what the book's about, that doesn't really bother me. Even stuff that happens like, in the first third of the book, that stuff doesn't really bother me. But character deaths should be sacred. Keeping secret the death of characters should absolutely be our top priority as booktubers. And guys, when you say that ending broke me, you are telling everyone that someone dies at the end. I am not saying you can't say that the ending was sad, or it was heartbreaking, or, oh man, what an ending. Like, I do that too. But when you say that it broke me and I needed the tissues, you're telling everyone that someone dies. I have not yet read a book that someone said the ending broke me where a character did not die at the end. You're giving it away. And I get it. You're emotional. I understand that. Tell the people around you. But when you take it to the internet, just know that you're spoiling it for everyone who knows that code. And trust me, it doesn't take the frickin' Riddler to piece that one together. You're saying that someone died. Now, don't at me and be like, well, it doesn't always. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Tell me a time that you said that ending broke me where someone didn't die. Like, I have cried in an ending as well. Not necessarily because someone died. I'm just saying that please, you should consider these things. And, again, I don't really care all that much about, spoilers that aren't, but character deaths are a big deal. And they're a big deal because characters die so infrequently in fantasy novels, or when they do, they come back. Like, it's just not something that is really common in fantasy novels. So when a character dies, it's a huge deal. So please, stop telling everyone the end of the book. You're telling people that a character dies. And I will check back to you when I finish reading a particular series that I'm hearing a lot about right now, that I hear this exact phrase about right now. I will report back to you and let you know if I was correct, because on every other occasion, I can't say it here because if you haven't read them and you haven't heard them, that would spoil it for you. But on 3 separate occasions, someone has said this, and on 3 separate occasions, it has been because a character died. And it was less impactful for me because I knew it was going to happen. So, again, you can do what you want. You can do what you want. It's a free country, right? I'm just saying that is kind of my pet peeve right now, because it's like, well, I know who's going to die, or I know someone's going to die, and you can usually piece out who it's going to be. You can usually piece out who it's going to be. Well, this thing is already freaking 35 minutes long, like without editing, and I didn't, leave a ton of space in here. So this is definitely going to be 2 parts. So I'm going to get halfway through. So I'm going to get through 12 questions here, and I'll do the other 13, which probably aren't nearly as long, next time. So, 11, what book changed your life? I'm going to say that Hogfather by Terry Pratchett is really the book that changed, the fiction book that changed my life. In 11th grade, and this was, I had just gotten into theater, and one of my friends who's in theater, he had read this book and said, you should read it. It's like, Monty Python's, what everyone says. And I read it, and I had no idea what was going on, but I thought it was hilarious that Death was Santa Claus. It was like a better version of Nightmare Before Christmas. And I just loved the humor so much that I went back and I read nothing but Terry Pratchett, starting from publication order all the way through. When I graduated in 2001, it was Thief of Time had just come out, and because I had to check it out from the UCF library when I was there, and so I just read all of them, and then I read them again, and then I read them again. I read so much Pratchett. I think I read Pratchett, and then I read Black Company, and then went back and read Pratchett again. It wasn't really until BookTube that I realized what kind of a profound effect Terry Pratchett has had on my life, like the things that I find funny. Wordplay, puns, that's a play on words, as Death would say. This just kind of absurdist British humor, that coupled with my watching of Eddie Izzard and then Conan O'Brien, those 3 things have kind of defined what I find funny. And I didn't, and Jon Stewart, of course. And I didn't really realize the effect that Pratchett had, but it definitely changed the way I think about reading, the way I think about words. Pratchett has he just opened a whole new, world of imagination, like frickin' my own personal Willy Wonka. So I'm definitely going to say Hogfather. Boosh. Number 12, what simple invention improved the world? What? This isn't opinion. Paved roads? The Persians had their paved roads, and the Romans, because the Roman way is steal and perfect. So the Romans had paved roads, that 50,000 miles of the bloody thing by the fall of the empire, and many of them are still there because they were built to last. And paved roads change everything, because now you can transport troops, goods, and messages much faster than anyone else. And all of a sudden, travel becomes much simpler. Paved roads. The Roman paved road was the single fastest mode of transportation until the 18th century with the invention of the steam engine. So there you go. And the friggin' steam engine, that'll change the world too. And then, things like the cotton gin, the printing press. What are you supposed to say here? Why is this this is not a question about me. What simple invention improved the world? What a weird question. Boosh. The paved road, just remember. And also, Roman concrete. The Romans had concrete that set underwater, guys. The concrete set underwater. What? Freaking Roman engineering, man. So freaking cool. So guys, this has run long. This is part 1 of the 25 question tag, because I talked about Asperger's for probably 10 of it. So, that's it for me for now. I will be back with the back half of this tag soon. Guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, information about my Patreon and Discord is down in the description, and I'll see you next time, guys.